Welcome to the channel once again. This is a different kind of setup, different kind of environment, and different kind of vibe altogether, perhaps. I do like to come out here occasionally, the peaceful environment, listen to the bird sounds. There is artificial YouTube videos out there in the metaverse. People just upload it, and it may be in the forest, it may be a beautiful kind of setting, but it's artificial. And I see these videos get millions of views. So there is definitely, I would say, for many people, given the viewership, a longing for, a huge longing for people to come out here, to get to these kind of places. They just see it through a television screen. They don't actually come out here physically themselves. But I do want to talk a little bit about the importance of coming out here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the forest. It can be something else entirely. It can be a certain kind of activity, something that you enjoy doing, and something that gives you a sense of gratification and peace. Like I've had people say to me, I do have a long way from home or to my work, but it's almost the drive for me, it's almost therapeutic for me. Or the fact that I like doing my house chores. I like cleaning my house. It's almost like therapy for me. I like exercising. So it's their outlook on it is, I get to work out. I get to bring my children. I get to drive. So really, that perspective in and of itself is really just the language of it. The fact that you speak it out into existence has a profound impact on just your overall perspective and outlook on life. I like coming out here and I have no one to talk to. It's a way to gather my thoughts, just as you've seen in the car cleaning video. It may not seem like a lot, just being out here in the forest all by myself, talking to a camera, not doing anything. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, stimulus of the brain for an extended period of time and how that shapes your reality. You coming out here, you not doing anything, you not being externally stimulated. Because if you are out here, if you sit like me by myself and not actually doing anything, that stimulates your brain in a certain way, make no mistake. It's totally different than playing a video game or scrolling through TikTok or scrolling through social media, looking at other people's lifestyle. That activity stimulates the brain. If you do it for an extended period of time, it's going to shape your brain. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but there's always two sides of the coin. If you get your mind used to, short form content, whether it be TikTok videos, if you try to pick up a book, I've seen youngsters nowadays, they can't even, reading it. Of course, if they're not used to it, they're going to have a hard time. So this right here is a way to balance that out. And especially in the world today with the technology development, we're getting increasingly more advanced just by a week-to-week basis. I can't even catch up with it. I used to love playing PlayStation. I do not know how many games have been released. I think PlayStation 6 might be released. So I've fallen behind from a long time ago. So this right here gives you clarity. So you might come out here, you might take the initiative, okay, you may be feeling inspired, you'll say, I might go out into the forest, and you may sit there. You sit there for an hour, nothing happens. 2 hours, nothing happens. You do it on a day-to-day basis, nothing happens. It's the same with anything. You have to do it for a very long time in order for it to be, for the activity of the stimulus to be ingrained, have an impact and an effect on you. So you might not discover anything. But if you sit here continually for hours, and you have no kind of external stimulus other than the bird sound and perhaps the background noise, you're kind of being forced to go inward and to use your imagination. And if you go inward, that's the whole purpose of meditation, is to come to grips with yourself, to examine yourself. So here you can really get to examine yourself. I mean, when it really gets quiet, right now it's about 6 p.m. I only have about 30 minutes left to record. But I might think I might come here and record about 5 or 6 a.m. when the sun sets up. That's really something special. And you might discover something that you've never discovered about yourself, because you can listen to your self-talk. You can listen to that inner dialogue. And that's what I think is missing for a lot of people. That's really what I think, the fact that more and more people and less people are taking initiative to take it slow, to do some kind of activity where they can be, enlightened perhaps. That contributes to a shallower and shallower world. It's just about who. I don't even know what to say, but shallowness. I mean, what do I mean by shallowness? Shallow in what sense? Well, it could be jumping in and out of complacency. It could be the lack of a meaningful relationship. It could be many different things. I cannot think of anything specific on the top of my head right now. But if you feel lost, if you don't know, if you've lost your direction and you're somewhat aimless in your pursuit, or you have some problems, understand problems fade away given time, in due course. The problems that you may be having, maybe you're going through a breakup, maybe you feel like your life is just falling apart. Trust me, it isn't. The things that you're going through, the issues that you're going through, the problems that you're going through, somebody else went through them. Thousands of people have went through them throughout thousands of years before you, thousands, tens of thousands generations before you. So it's nothing new. But you are just living a very saturated life, perhaps. You are in a sense of ennui. You're not doing what you are supposed to be doing. You are coming you're less in touch with your primal self. It's all very nice, make no mistake. The technology improvement, what we can do, it's fascinating. I've seen what they can do and with AI. But there is also a part of you, a true part of you, that you need to perhaps investigate a little further. That being your primal self. So it's nice you're able to put numbers in an Excel sheet, the engineering work. That's all very, very fascinating for sure. But there is a part of you, like I said, an instinctive biological part of you that you need to dig deeper into, for sure. So coming out here, doing nothing, for tens of thousands of years, it has its health benefits for sure. Tens of thousands of years, people used to do, your great ancestors used to live like this. If they were not hunting, if they were not eating or sleeping, they would just sit in silence and do nothing. So there is something definitely to be said about what you are biologically programmed to do. if you do not know what to do, if you haven't gotten all figured out, if you feel lost. I always tell people, this is the exact same thing I tell people. I'm saying with a fairly good amount of conviction that the answer is always going to be increased movement. The answer is always going to be increased activity. You heard me say this before. There's no appreciation without the element of struggle. So you have to go out there in the real world, and you have to use your body, use your hands, use your feet, increase the amount of activity, use your body, because even from a biological standpoint, when you are using your body, you are contributing. I'm not a biology expert by no means, but let's hear me out on this. You're contributing to the biological process. You're using energy. Your digestive system is, you're using energy. You eat food. You ingest. You digest. You're contributing to biology. You're making, so to speak, a bigger ripple in the fabric of space-time. And your body is going to reward you for that. It's going to say, okay, we're going to release. It may not, it may not say this, but it's going to release some feel-good emotions. Oxytocin, whatever it may be, dopamine, all these feel-good emotions. Your body's going to reward you. So if you feel depressed, the very last thing you should be doing is sitting in a room. Even if you don't know what to do, even if you don't know how to channel your energy in the right direction. Like, I don't know. What could be any kind of issue that you're having? The answer is almost never scroll through social media. The answer is almost never, sit in your room and browse through the internet. You may get smarter, but there are some things that the internet, Google, they don't have all the answers. You have to go out there in the real world. And actually, I think there's a lot of people, there are more and more people that exist on the metaverse that exist in the real world, perhaps. So you have to go out and use your body, do what you were biologically programmed to do. You got to go out there and make yourself tired, become exhausted. And you can be very tired. You can be, I don't care how depressed you are. If you walk all day, if you walk 50 miles a day, you chop woods, I don't know what you're going to do, but you use your body throughout the whole day. You eat food, you move around, do something with your body. You cannot become depressed. The person who tells me that they're depressed and they need to see a psychologist or therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I have not studied it all the time, but I can guarantee you I can cure any person. I can cure a person instantly. Whoever is depressed, I said, you need to come with me. And I'm going to spend you're going to go with me. We're going to spend the whole day together. We're going to do various kinds of activity. And you're going to become so tired when you go home that you'll forget to be depressed. You don't even have time to become depressed. You're depressed because you're not doing anything with your life. And trust me, I speak from experience. I mean, I've lived a very eclectic life. I know what it means to be a happy man and a sad man. And I tell you with 100% certainty, the answer is never stillness. The answer is never, even if you don't feel like, if you feel sad, if you feel disheartened, if you feel happy, regardless of how you feel, you have things to do as a man. The whole essence of being a man, if you ask me, is to resist. It's to say, okay, I feel this way, I feel sad, I feel like crying, but I'm not gonna cry. And I've been there. I know it's hard, it's difficult, but you have to do the difficult things. You have to put no stock in your emotion. there's a couple of emotions that you may want to express, that you may want to put stock into, like love, but anger, jealousy, irritation, whatever it means. I mean, those kind of emotions should have no bearing on how you're going to live your life. You should not give in. You should not listen to your emotion. You have things to do. You have a duty. So, even the thing that you're working on, if it may not come to a fruition, like I've been disappointed, I've looked at my past videos, it's not getting, a couple of 10 views, 20 views, and it's not anywhere near the scope and the reach that I've hoped for. But should I let that impact me? Should I be discouraged? No, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, because it's the right thing to do. That's what Stoicism is, because you're gonna have to face it in life. I mean, 90% of your life will suck. 90% of your life will just be, coping with disappointment. So that has to be instilled within you. That's the whole point of exercising. If you see me training video, if you're running, or push-up, pull-ups, any kind of exercise, it's really, as David Goggins has said himself, it's really callousing your victim's mentality, is the way he says it. I like that phrase. So just as you are callousing your hands when you're doing pull-ups, you're callousing your hands, becoming harder. When you're running, I'm not becoming stronger physically. I'm not just becoming physically more capable and more competent in life. I'm not becoming a better version of myself, but I'm training myself for life. I'm training, so I don't know, okay, I don't feel like this. I don't feel like going to work. I feel like, I've done all this for my girlfriend, and it's just been in vain totally. And I feel disappointed, and I don't deserve this. And I feel enraged. But guess what? I want to punch this guy in the face. I want to wreak havoc. I mean, I've felt that plenty of times. And many men have felt that plenty of times. But guess what? You have to be calculated. That's the point of coming out here. Say, okay, you're gaining clarity. You say, okay, if I find myself in that kind of situation again, what do I do? What is my course of action? You're playing chess all of the time when you are awake. So you don't get to the top. You don't get to improve yourself just by random. Nothing good happens on accident. You have to plan for it. So improvement is playing chess. I mean, again, we talked about in the other video, it's accuracy. It's making the right choice. It's not giving in, not listening to your emotions. Say, okay, I feel enraged, but I will not express my anger. Because that's only going to be, that's not going to lead to anywhere. If anything, it leads to just chaos and just disorder and, devastating outcomes. It's not going to improve my life by any means when I'm enraged. Even if I feel jealousy, like any of these kinds of emotions. So I'm saying to you, in a sense, I am saying to you, become less human perhaps, and become more of a machine, if that makes sense. Become more of a calculator. So, again, I speak from life experience. And I have not even lived that long of a life. There are plenty of people older than me, perhaps more experienced than me. But maturity is not the number of years you've lived. Maturity is how much damage have you taken. That's maturity. I've seen a 16-year-old more mature than a 40-year-old. Trust me. He has been through, things that you haven't remotely been through. If you even, as I talked about, increased activity, if you have an increased activity, if your calendar is packed, if you have a lot of things to do, if you're living an eventful life, you're living an eclectic life, you're trying out various kinds of things, you have diversity in your life, you're living a colorful life, you're meeting different people from different countries, you're going to different countries, doing a lot of different things, And if you take somebody living a monotonous life, I may say, maybe counter that argument and say, improvement is in monotony. That is true, but it's a different argument here. Somebody who does the same thing all of the time, that is necessary when you want to master something. We need to master the pull-ups, we need to master push-ups, or whatever it may be. Repetition is the mother of skill. You need to do the monotonous work. But somebody who lacks variety in their life versus somebody who lives it, who has the exact opposite, doesn't lack variety. Like, I understand, money is necessity to live in order to live a colorful life, in order to live an exuberant life. That is somewhat necessary. But you can do with the money that you have, with the resources, and with your facilitating power, with what you can do, you can still impose somewhat of variety. You can go out, try out different things, engage in new activities. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So if you have somebody who does the same thing, goes to work, comes home, eats, spends time with his wife, goes to bed, does the same thing again, versus somebody who does a lot of different things, he gains life experience faster. Because at the end of the day, I like to think of it as, we all got 24 hours a day. It's 8 hours you sleep. You say you awake 12 hours. How are you spending those 12 hours? Those same 12 hours, the person who's living an eventful life, going to conferences, and he is a famous individual, he's well respected, he sees a lot of different things and meets a lot of different people. That person, naturally, of course, he's going to become more experienced, going to be more mature. So I understand you might be somewhat limited. I am even somewhat limited in that regard. It's not like I have a glamorous life. I'm a pretty simple man. But I try my best to introduce some degree of moderation and variety within my life. So, but money is needed to do that, because your mobility, with your resourcing power, your ability to facilitate is directly linked with the amount of money you have in your bank account. That's no lie there. So I'm just sharing my thoughts here. I think I may have lost a little bit of track of where I was coming from and what I was initially planning to talk about. But again, this here is what I'm saying. I hope you can make sense of it, and you can put the pieces together, make the puzzle work for you. But yeah, the sun is getting low here. And as always, I thank you guys for tuning in. I think I might also include a training video. And yeah, you guys take care. See you next time.